internal medicine doctor Zach Highley, just quit medicine. This is Dr. Chad Swanson. I've been practicing emergency medicine for about 20 years, and this is my daily health systems transformation video. I'm kind of tired, but I've committed to doing this every day because I think it's important and it matters. So Dr. Highley posted a video where he's honest and vulnerable and provides a somewhat entertaining and about an hour-long summary of the pre-med, medical school, and residency experience. His description highlights the outdated and unhealthy process that is medical education and training. I'm going to recommend 3 things to fix the education and training to become a physician. The first is that we require every pre-medical student to major in health systems transformation. So that way we create an army of students that understand that only 5 to 20% of our health status that we can control is due to healthcare, that understand the role of diet and exercise and social connections in improving our health, that understand the role of private equity and the role of profits and pharmaceutical companies and finance in general in our health system, that understand the history of creating a system that no one would create and that just doesn't make sense on so many levels, that understand the deep inequities that are in our system, whether it be people living with disabilities or Black and brown people or LGBTQ people. So we create an army of people that are going to enter medical school with everyone. Every single student that's entering medical school has this deep understanding of the need for health systems transformation, and they've studied enough of social change to understand how social change happens and the role that they could play in it. That's number one. So number 2 is that we transition to a competency-based professional licensing and board certification and diplomas and all these other certifications that we go through. So as it now stands, in order to become a physician, regardless of how much experience you have, you need to go through 4 years of medical school and at least 3 years of residency training. That makes no sense if someone is already a nurse practitioner practicing largely independently as a pediatric clinician or in an orthopedic surgery clinic or whatever the case may be. So it's really wasteful at a systems level, and it is harmful for the healthcare provider themselves, because as Dr. Highley explained, and many others have experienced this, we go through this long process of applying to medical school and then getting accepted or not getting accepted and applying again, and then applying for residency and then going through the residency process, only to reach a point where either we don't want to do it or we find out that we might want to do something different. And so I envision a process where maybe you go through nursing school and then you become a nurse in a certain specialty. And then if you want to become a nurse practitioner in that specialty, then you go through the required training for that, which would be based on competencies, so knowledge and skills that are needed for that specialty. And then maybe you decide while you're, if you're training to become a neurosurgery nurse practitioner, but you don't enjoy the procedures that are involved in neurosurgery, then you can switch to a different specialty, maybe psychiatry or maybe rheumatology or something else. And then once you settle into something that seems to fit your likes and your disposition and your character, then you can go through a different education and training process, that and then become a board certified physician in that specific specialty. So I think that would be the best way. And then the third is really the most important. So if those two initial ideas that I came up with need to be rigorously considered, and maybe they're not the best solution. But the third must really required recommendation is that there be a relentless focus on health and well-being. So we've got a system that is focused on credentials and merit badges and profits and the prestige that we gain, and keeping the status quo. So there's so many things that we focus on, and health and well-being and rescue treatment. So this, as an emergency doctor, I see this all the time. Whereas health and well-being for those going through training, for patients, health and well-being for all is takes a back seat. I'd love your thoughts, your criticisms. Thank you very much.